You need to try and pick off the units as...
Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take him!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. This is Pain User.
And this is HD.
And we've got some more IPL Season 2 proper action for you guys. This is Game 2 between LaLuSh and BratOK. The map is going to be Metalopolis. We're going to have a TVZ for you guys. And we have BratOK spawning as the Red Terran down at the 6 o'clock. And his opponent over at the 12 o'clock in blue, we have Millennium's LaLuSh. So, Game 1, going to LaLuSh. Very, very patient game out of him. Love some of the moves, some very good plays out of him. And he was able to eke out a victory in a very long macro game on Terminus.
Yeah, you made a good point there because we saw some pretty awesome, cold, calculated, and concise play from LaLuSh. He was able to really play a patient game with Zerg versus Terran rather than most of his Zerg brethren where they like to go all in, and not necessarily all in, but when they attack they like to trade their whole army and see what happens. LaLuSh said, you know what, I'm going to play much more patiently, leave my infestors alive and see what happens. So judging from that game, you would imagine that LaLuSh has this game in the bag, but BratOK is never a player to be discounted. We're not gonna just forget about him because this is a loser's bracket, and BratOK realizes more than any of us that if he loses this game, he's out of the tournament. So we are in Game 2. This is now on the now defunct Metalopolis, and we'll see what happens.
Yep, BratOK's life is on the line in this game, so he has all the pressure right now. LaLuSh up one game in the series, so got a little bit of breathing room. BratOK's going to have to win 2 games in a row, and LaLuSh must be feeling pretty confident right now after that first game. Anytime you win a long macro game like that, you just feel so confident in your abilities and feel so confident versus that opponent. Once again, we have that early supply depot block coming in very clutch for BratOK, and he's actually grabbed his gas pretty early on in this game, so we're going to see a factory out of him more than likely. He could perhaps land a tech lab on that Rax after he gets this first Marine out. I don't know, we'll have to see.
Yeah, he may actually go for that factory because he's already got the gas coming. A little bit of a switch up from Game 1. I think on a map like Terminus where your natural is pretty closed off, you can go for that command center after the barracks fairly quickly. But on a map where it's Metalopolis, you can't necessarily get that CC right away because if you do try to land it down, you have the issue of, what am I going to do if Lings come in and attack me? So he's going for the factory first, and he's going to try to get some possible Hellions out. Maybe he's going to go straight into Starport. We'll see what happens for BratOK.
Yeah, we will see what he decides to go with here. He does have that second gas on the way, which makes me think he's going to probably get a Banshee or some really early siege tanks, and perhaps Banshees as well. We might see a one base all-in out of BratOK here. I don't think so, though. I think he's going to get an early Banshee out, possibly for some map control. We'll have to see whether or not he invests in Cloak, and there we go. The Starport is on the way now in the production tab, and LaLuSh getting out those initial lings. He's actually building 8 initial lings. Looks like he might be worried about some kind of cheese coming in here. So yeah, gonna have those 8 lings for a little bit of map control. He will be able to hold on to the Xel'Nagas, and he will probably be able to get a scout on the front of BratOK's base here and get sight on that reactor and that tech lab. Let's hope he doesn't get in there and see the starport or the factory.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those Lings are going to be able to control the map so well, and I don't think they're going to be able to get in there to see the starport or factory simply because that wall from the supply depots is going to be able to prevent the Lings from running in so easily. So the starport with tech lab now, the Banshee with cloak is coming out. This is going to be really effective because I don't think LaLuSh has any overlords in sight. That starport is far enough in the back where it will not be able to be detected by any Lings that poke at that reactor and the supply depot wall. So does LaLuSh have the ability, the precognition to realize that there are cloaked banshees coming out here? I mean, in game 1, he did throw down those spore crawlers really, really fast, despite not having any scout at all. This is game 2, though, and he hasn't done that at all. He hasn't thrown an Evo chamber up, so I'm a little worried here, man. I think the cloaked banshee could do some damage.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility if you catch the Zerg player
There's the
off
Evo
guard
chamber.
and he's not expecting it. There we go. We have an Evo chamber coming up now, and the build time on that so quick. It's going to be done long before Cloak finishes, and this will give him the opportunity to get those Spore Crawlers up in time should he detect this Banshee coming out. It's actually very surprising that he hasn't tried to sacrifice an Overlord in the main yet and figure out what's going on, because right now, once again, he's playing in the dark. He really has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know if BratOK's trying to expand. He doesn't know if he's teching up. And here now we have this Banshee with Cloak moving out, and there are some Lings on the mini-map. They both have a very similar trajectory. Will they miss each other?
Oh my god! Ew, the Lings missed the Banshee. The Banshee actually decided to take a left turn right there at the very last second, and it means that the Banshee was not detected by the Lings, so LaLuSh still has no idea this is coming. But you were mentioning, LaLuSh doesn't sacrifice an Overlord, and it almost seems like LaLuSh purposefully does that, and he just plays to defend against all possible attacks. He gets Spore Crawlers, he gets Banelings, he's well versed to be able to defend any kind of a Rax attack or any kind of a Banshee attack rather than sacrificing an Overlord. So it's almost like he prepares for everything, but does he have enough anti-air to catch this? He has no Spore Crawlers. They are coming up at the natural, and this Banshee is coming in, and it's doing some work here. It's already got at least 5 drone kills. Let's click that Banshee. 4 drone kills. Gonna be at 5, and the Spore Crawlers are morphing in, and BratOK not paying attention here. Gonna take some damage on the whole of that Banshee, and it may go down.
Oh, the Banshee gets away. There's another Banshee in the main. No, it's over at the edge of the natural right there, just doing what it can. Picks off 1 unit, and he will try and get in there and pick off a few more, but I don't think that these Banshees have done enough damage to pay for themselves, and BratOK not paying attention
no.
here is going to lose his second Banshee after only
loss.
taking out a single unit, and right now he's denying the natural of BratOK by so much with these Banelings and these Lings. He's just preventing him from landing and taking that, and that's going to give him such an economic lead. And he's also feeling so safe to drone up here because he's warded off those 2 Banshees, and now he's in a situation where he can continue to drone, and we have a bunch of drones on the production tab right there. He could possibly take an early third here, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that. He's content to just sit back, drone up, and build up on his army and remain safe here, but he does go for a run by with some Lings, and he's going to get a few SCVs here.
Yeah, he's going to get several SCVs, in fact. Gets about 4 or 5 going down there with those Lings running in. Well played by LaLuSh again. I mean, during that all-out Banshee attack at his main and his natural, LaLuSh had the multitasking ability to realize that, hey, I've got Lings and Banelings here. They can't really do much against the Banshee, so why not delay the natural from going down that much more? And that's exactly what he did. And because of that, BratOK had to focus attention on the natural to get that CC down, and he ended up losing a Banshee anyways. So really well played here. We have a little bit of a camera action going on here. The Banshee is doing a little bit of worshiping by the centaur up there on the little mound. But here comes the Banshee once again. This guy has 10 kills, has done enough damage, but I don't know if it's enough to pay for the 1-1-1 opening from the Terran player.
Yeah, with the added Cloak, which wasn't really necessary because I don't think that Cloak was what allowed him to get those kills. Running again, once again, trying to pick off some SCVs here, doing a great job. The tank doing that friendly fire to his own SCVs, but now that Stim is finished and we have 2 siege tanks, and I don't agree with this decision at all. BratOK pulls out. He doesn't want to engage on the creep. He's trying to head around towards the third and then eventually to the natural.
There's times when you pull out and it's good, but that was not a good time to pull out.
No, definitely not. I think that's going to cost him so much time here, and it's going to allow LaLuSh to build up the army that he needs to hold this off. And here we have so many Lings in production. It's also going to give him time for Baneling speed to finish, and now that we have Baneling speed up, this is going to be incredibly difficult for BratOK to hold.
Banshee chasing away that hemorrhaging spine crawler there, really wants to pick it off. And here comes the Banelings. They're going to roll in there and taking out all the Marines. They are, and the tanks go down as well. And maybe that hesitation, man, that pulling out at the last second, I think that cost him because he had an opportunity to do some pretty good damage. Hello, though, we have another Marine drop going inside the main of LaLuSh, but it is well deflected once again. That spine crawler leaving a trail of blood as it crawls its way from the natural to the main. Oh, someone get a band-aid for that spine crawler. It's bleeding so much.
And there it is. The transfuse goes down on the
Band-Aid.
spine crawler, feeling
Nice.
much better after that. not hemorrhaging oh no, he's still hemorrhaging everywhere.
Yeah, but he's recovering slowly but surely. The natural attribute of the Zerg comes into play there. Well, that was a nice little attack by BratOK, except for the fact that it did absolutely no damage at all.
Yeah, it was terrible for him. There's nothing good that came out of that. He lost his entire push, and once again, that gives LaLuSh an opportunity to sit back, relax, drone up, take his third, and here we see him taking his third already. He is trying to hold on to this Xel'Naga here with a handful of Marines and this medevac, but he is going to be forced to get out of there in a hurry, but he does save the medevac and the Marines, so very well played right there from BratOK. And he's also going after a very aggressive position here at the gold, but I don't know if he has the infrastructure or the tanks really right now to hold on to this expansion. It's going to get harassed by these mutas. Some SCVs going down right there, but the question is and what a beautiful counterattack from LaLuSh right here, going into the natural. BratOK has virtually nothing to defend this.
Just a single tank, and that's going to go down immediately, Painter. And look, the Lings are still alive. They're going to be able to run into the main, and the Mutalisk flying right over the barracks. That means no more Marines are going to be able to come out. This is a disaster for the Terran. The Marines are falling back right now, and they are not going to be able to do anything because the Mutas are so fast, man. They got those wings. They're flying out of there. And they've done their damage, they've done their work. Beautiful play by LaLuSh, man. He's just keeping the aggression on, really unlike game one, where he was playing more of a macro game, sit back, cold, calculated, concise style of play. Now it's more of like a bonkers attack everywhere style of play.
You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I wish I've seen this movie, man.
Princess Bride's a great movie, man. You totally would. But
I keep thinking of Princess Diaries when you say that.
The thing that I love about LaLuSh right now is he's really showcasing a different style of play. A lot of Zergs, they'll have a build order that they're very comfortable with in a specific matchup, and that's what they stick with time and time again. They repel attacks, they continue to build up, they go down this set tech tree that they have, and that's what works for them. LaLuSh is showcasing a completely different style of play here. He's going with the old school Mutaling, Baneling.
Yeah, no infestors at all.
He's sticking to that. We don't have infestors here. We don't have a quick hive for the Broodlords, and he's playing this style very well, and he's showing multiple dimensions to his play, and that's the hallmark of a great player.
Indeed.
And I'm really enjoying this out of him. He's using the mobility of the Ling, Baneling, Muta style very, very well, and he's abusing BratOK for taking that super quick gold that he's not really in a position to defend right now.
You're enjoying this. I'm living vicariously through LaLuSh's playstyle and absorbing through osmosis everything that he's doing here. I'm taking this to MLG so I can play even better. Looks like the Mutalisk's gonna run in here, and they encounter a turret. Not quite enough. No, I think there's an opening there for the Mutas to do a little bit more of harass damage. BratOK is in an all-scramble, high alert, red alert situation. He's got to figure out what he's gonna do. He's got the gold. Good for him. That's a little bit of a boost right in itself, but he has no map control, no presence on the map at all, cannot be aggressive. He's constantly on the defense, and he may be able to keep the turret alive. It's always funny when you see Mutalisk going in, because once you commit to a turret, it's like, should I do it or should I pull out? Should I do it or should I pull out?
And right there, just committing a little bit too much. Those turrets getting in a ton of shots on those Mutalisks.
Yeah.
Gonna lose a couple there, and a couple are gonna get into the deep red, but his Mutalisk flock is getting pretty menacing, and we have a counterattack once again at the natural. Gonna clean up all the SCVs there. Supply depot goes up at the ramp, blocking them from getting into the main, and we have a huge engagement over here on the creep.
Good control by the Marines, so staying away from those Banelings, so the Marines will stay alive, but all the tanks end up going down, and that's all that LaLuSh wanted to do, man. Just run in there, take out the tanks, live to fight another day.
Very, very good control from BratOK right there, though. That could have gone way more sour, and we do have more Banelings morphing in right now for LaLuSh, and as soon as those get up, he will be able to engage these Marines, and he pulls all the drones and moves in from behind with the Lings and the Mutas, and he is going to clean up that Marine force. He had plenty of DPS to kill those Marines, even with the medevacs healing them, and he is going to lose all these medevacs as well, and that hurts so much.
Look at that Marine graveyard. All the blood just feeding nutrients, fresh nutrients into the creep. The creep eats it healthily, and the Banelings rolling in once again, an acidic death for all those Marines, and the dropship's not even going to be able to get out of there either. BratOK is falling apart at every seam, every turn, every bolt is falling apart from that well-oiled Terran machine. This is looking worse and worse as time goes on, and I think BratOK is on the verge of being knocked out of IPL main event, the IPL main event season 2.
I totally agree with you. LaLuSh is doing a very good job picking him apart. He is sort of falling apart at the seams, like you said. LaLuSh continuing to find small windows of opportunity to get in there and do damage. He's spending his gas so well. He's down below 100 almost this entire time. Building up on that Mutalisk flock. We do have attack 2 on the way for those Mutas, so they're going to get pretty devastating here. And once that flock gets up into those high numbers, once you start to pass, 16, things become very, very dicey for the Terran. You have to have anti-air in position everywhere. And LaLuSh looks to head over to the third, but immediately just pulls back, and he's going to head right over to the gold and try and do some harassment here. And I think he has enough Mutas to start working his way through those turrets with reckless abandon.
Where is Thor? I want to hear Thor is here. Where is it? Where's the Thor, man? He needs Thors right now, but really he has no infrastructure to even support mech, or not, at least not to support the factory unit that requires the Thor. That's the armory. This is looking bad, man. The Mutalisks are flying into the gold. They've killed off all the SCVs. I don't think that our Terran player BratOK has any SCVs at all at the gold. Yeah, they've all gone down. He's got to recall in some mules, and things are looking so dicey for him.
We do have weapons 3 on the way, so he has to have an armory by default, which makes you wonder why he hasn't built any Thors. He does. I don't think he has the mineral income to support that. Right now he's at 90. He hardly has enough Marines to ward
he's
off
got
these
like
Mutas.
maybe 800 minerals a minute there.
Yeah.
Just now breaching 1,000 with those mules.
That's not going to be enough. He only has 34 SCVs, and that's just due to LaLuSh's brilliant harass throughout this entire game. He's been picking off SCVs at the natural. He's been picking off SCVs at the gold. And here we have another small squad of Zerglings heading over to the third. Meanwhile, he's harassing the gold with the Mutalisks.
Yeah, beautiful harass here, because those Lings actually were just serving as a distraction. And now the planetary at the gold pain user is going to go down to all these Mutas. It's on fire. No. It's on fire. The roof is on fire. And it's going to go down. The planetary has blown apart. And
that's
BratOK,
huge.
That's huge, man. He's now down to what, 3 bases, and really one of them is 2 of them aren't even mining at this point. So this is it. This may be the all-in desperate push from BratOK. Just a ragtag army of Marines, Rico's Roughnecks, as you like to call them, pain user, and just 4 tanks. Another Fungal. The Fungal comes into play in game 2, and those Marines are so weathered and withered away from the storm of constant Muta harass and Baneling harass. And here comes the attack. This has got to be it.
Is it enough? Can he hold on? No, there are too many Lings and Banelings.
Oh, sweet mama baby Jesus.
Oh, my goodness. That is it. BratOK is out of the tournament. Wow, such a phenomenal Terran player. The Russian assassin getting knocked out of the tournament by LaLuSh. And he will GGGL and bow out respectfully out of the IPL. It is very sad to see him go, but LaLuSh will take this series 2-0. Knocking out an impressive opponent in BratOK, and he's gonna move on to losers round 4 to face the loser, of Mana versus Thorzane.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, man. I mean, he may win the game today, but he's got to go on to face the loser of Thorzane versus Mana. Wow, I mean, I don't know who he's gonna play. I mean, either one of those is gonna be a tough battle. It's gonna be either a Terran or a Protoss. I don't know if LaLuSh can continue on, but hey, it is a loser's bracket. He did well today. He will live to fight another day. I'm sorry, BratOK, but you are out of the tournament. It hurts, man.
What can we say, man? But if you guys enjoyed those casts from me and HD, be sure to check out more of our content. You can find me over at twitter.com/painuser.
You guys can also find me at twitter.com/HDStarcraft, as well as Facebook at HDStarcraft, and of course, YouTube.
And if you guys want to check out more IPL content, be sure and sign up for some of our social media. You can find us at Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and JustinTV.com/IGN Pro League. Please do follow on Justin TV. We truly appreciate it. That's it for this series, guys. Pain User and HD signing out. Stay tuned for more IPL2 content.